Hello, this is Dan Ferrisi, Group Director of Content and Editorial, Industrial and Tech at Emerald. So happy to be joined today by two friends from Almo Pro AV, Beth Dudley, who is Director of Sales for Public Sector, and Matthew Callari, who is Director of Sales for Emerging Tech. Topic of conversation is, of course, command and control, aligning with our command and control deep dive, of which Almo Pro AV is a presenting sponsor. Thank you so much, Beth and Matthew, for joining us today. Really appreciate you taking the time to educate us on command and control and everything you're seeing from the trenches.
Thank you for having us, Dan.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Excited to be here.
So let's get right into it. And Beth, if you don't mind, I will start with you. How are you seeing command and control environments evolving right now? It seems like we're kind of shifting a bit away from highly traditional video wall centric designs to fully integrated ecosystems, a lot of real-time data visualization, real-time decision making. What are you seeing out in the field right now?
Yeah, that's a great question, Dan. A lot of what we're seeing, to your point, is these centers are no longer just displaying information. It's about delivering the right information to the right people at the right time. So we're getting all of these feeds that are coming in, and we're actually using the data for our operators to give visual information to people on the scene. So it's really evolved into just a screen with information to whether it's public safety or transportation or emergency management, all of those, it's actionable intelligence. So they really evolved into a space that is filled with information to give them information to do their job more efficiently.
And that's what it's all about, right? It's about making sure they can do their job efficiently with a minimum of friction, a minimum of distraction, give them the tools to be able to act and act with immediacy. Is that kind of the heart and soul of it?
Absolutely, yes. You hit that right on the head.
So Matt, I would like to turn to you next. I know you know emerging tech better than virtually anyone, and I would like to know about the growing role of emerging tech in the command and control environment. So feel free to talk about drones, about XR, any other emerging tech that seems to be enhancing situational awareness and helping make these spaces even more efficient and even more effective.
Yeah, definitely. So emerging technology is increasingly becoming just another data source feeding the command and control ecosystem. So rather than it being a standalone product, we now have a couple different layers that we can add to that. So drones, for example, are going to provide a real-time aerial intelligence layer that, previously people would be using helicopters or personnel. Well, now there's a faster, easier, less expensive way to be able to do that. And you're getting much, much better data. So we're seeing tons of this, especially in public safety, where you can use a drone as a first responder. You can give command personnel visibility to exactly what's going on real time rather than waiting for them to get to the scene. So that has been increasingly used more and more now. On the XR side, we're definitely seeing that being used for training, simulations, mission planning, a lot of remote collaboration and some visualization as well. So really with both of those pieces, we're kind of taking that next step in this whole ecosystem of command and control.
So Beth, I'd love to turn to you next and talk a little bit about cybersecurity and resilience considerations. It seems to me, and let me know if I'm wrong, that the need for secure AV over IP transport, cyber resilient architectures is just growing by the day. It is really important, especially in these mission critical command and control spaces. What are those considerations and what are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, we've seen a growth in that, kind of led within the federal sector. They have a new policy in place and it kind of rolls down, throughout, utilities and state and local environments as well. But we really, from an AV standpoint, have to align with IT security policies, where there is, to your point, we're talking about secure AV over IP transport, the possibility of like network segmentation, access controls. They have to consider redundancy planning. All of this information has come such a key part of how they're operationally ready that we have to treat it like it's part of the IT ecosystem. And those requirements are now in play in command and control.
So as you know, with a name like Commercial Integrator, we are heavily focused on those AV integrators. We want to make sure that their businesses are enabled for maximum success. So I want to know about the opportunities that exist in command and control for the integrators who know and rely on CI. So market growth trends you might be seeing, customer requirements they should be aware of, how they can expand into mission critical if they're not there already. Can you just give me a summary, Beth, of those opportunities, what the landscape looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually a great time to go into command and control. If there's not a certification within an organization, it's something that I think that you could take a peek at. You could lean on our team, obviously, for that. But one of the bigger things is the amount of grants available, federal funding money for state, local, and federal, and tribal, I should say, for these types of solutions to upgrade their existing their SOCs, their security operations center, or their network operations center, into these full scale command and control systems. So you can find some of the requirements of those grants on spending.gov. There's a couple of federal websites that have them. FEMA's website has them, but there's some open grant opportunities for integrators to look at and understand the requirements for state, local, and federal agencies. So it's a great time to look into it. And then from a design of systems, we can definitely help you with that.
And it is so important, as you say, to know those requirements. This is not just like any other market. This is not just a conference room or a K through 12 space or a hospitality space. You need to know these requirements in and out. But once you do, opportunity abounds. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So Matt, I want to turn to you next. So when integrators are looking at command and control and they want to get a piece of that opportunity that we just learned about, so they're thinking about the need for operational flexibility, they're thinking about the need for long-term system growth, they're thinking about the need for future technology adoption in these spaces. Are there best practices? Are there scalable practices that integrators can implement? And perhaps even more importantly, is there a role for value-added distribution to make complex projects more accessible, more democratized, more available to the average integrator?
Yeah, definitely. So the biggest piece of advice I give our integrators is, don't design around what the customer needs today only. Look at the bigger picture. I mean, there's so many different elements to command and control, from, the camera to the display, to the software, to the drone, to the XR headset, that you want to make sure that that's in line with their current operations, but also where they are going to be going in the future. So, that might be a lot for an integrator to be able to swallow, but that's really where value add distribution comes into play, where we have industry experts that can help you with any one of those segments and really bring together the full project in one bite-sized piece that makes it very doable for them.
That's what it's about, right? It's making it bite-sized. It's making it accessible. It's not like there's some secret sauce that only a very small subset of integrators have. They just might need a little bit of a hand up, some resources, some scaffolding to enable them to take advantage of this opportunity. And that's exactly what a value-added distributor like Almo Pro AV gives, right? It gives them that scaffolding, that support, perhaps even more importantly, that confidence to know that they're not in it alone.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Beth. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining me today. Fantastic conversation, really informative, and it goes to show just how much power and opportunity lies in the command and control space. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure to have been joined by Beth Dudley, who is Director of Sales for Public Sector with Almo Pro AV, and of course, Matthew Callari, who is Director of Sales for Emerging Tech with Almo Pro AV. My name is Dan Ferrisi, Group Director of Content and Editorial, Industrial and Tech at Emerald. Please do keep your eyes on commercialintegrator.com for extensive coverage of the command and control space. We are all over it, and we want to make sure we continue to platform bright thought leadership like this throughout our command and control spotlight. Again, Beth, Matthew, thanks for joining me, and we will see you both soon.